So, I'll be honest with you. I have a least favourite Leeds United story. I have been covering the club in a few different ways, so written stuff and video stuff, for around 3 years now, maybe a little bit more. I can't remember off the top of my head. And I have stayed abreast of every single story that has gone on because I'm interested in this stuff. That's how it works. And this is the worst story in terms of Leeds United news that I have been made aware of time and time and time again. And you're going to have to stick with me here because this isn't the worst news for Leeds United fans there has ever been. This isn't we're selling Somerville or Gray or Rutter or Rafinha. But from a different perspective, it's the one I hate the most. And some Leeds United news, let's be honest, has zero value. It's the same across all sorts of news media and stuff recently, because that's how it works. And it includes this story that has resurfaced yet again. My opinion on the worst Leeds United news that exists is bollocks. And I will explain why it's bollocks. And I'll say how you can find what you should trust it, who you should trust, and how to tell what is a complete pile of nothing. The worst news is specifically coming from Pete O'Rourke. It's entitled, Leeds could move to sign available star, loved by Marcelo Bielsa. And again, he's back. He's back in the conversation. It's Ryan Kent. Ryan Kent, the guy that for the past 6 years we've been rumoured to be signing and then didn't. 6 years, 7 years, I don't know. For a long ass time. And yet this rumour has resurfaced once more. Specifically, this rumour has resurfaced because he was released by Fenerbahce under Jose Mourinho and is now looking for a new club. And because it's a cheap and easy link to make, everyone is resurfacing the Ryan Kent stuff. But there's a few reasons to sort of delve into stuff. And first up, the reason it's annoyed me. A lot of the time when I'm looking for Leeds news that's been going on, I'll do what a lot of other people do, and that is hop over to News Now, see what's nearish the top, and look at like what looks feasible and what doesn't. And this being the top story on News Now for Leeds United is why this entire thing has bugged me. Because to be completely clear, do not trust this. This is laced with reasons as to why you shouldn't believe this story. There are dozens of them. And the bit that bugs me is a lot of people have fallen into what looks like a very enticing headline. Leeds could move to sign available star. Brilliant. You've got a Leeds signing and someone that is likely to make a move into that one clause of the headline. Loved by Marcelo Bielsa. Congratulations, you have bolted on yet another thing that fans love. More and more and more and more features that make people want to click on an article. So they do. And so it gets to the top of these aggregator pages and it will go beyond just the Leeds United one. It will go far and wide and more people will actually start to believe it. But there are plenty of hints as to why it isn't actually real. First up, if you look at the headline, the word could is doing a lot of heavy lifting. In theory, I could flap my wings hard enough to fly. It's not going to happen. In theory, I could run a marathon in a world record time. It's not going to happen. But because you put the word could in there, technically, you're not wrong. In theory, fine. Whatever. But that means that news aggregators don't say, you can't exactly put that because you're lying. Because you're not technically lying. There's a little nugget of truth behind it. And we'll ignore the fact that it is completely against Ryan Kent's recent history for us to sign him. Just to run through it, it says in the article itself, he's currently a free agent as he left Fenerbahce in September after a mutual agreement to terminate his contract. To be completely clear with you, since Mourinho rocked up, he appeared once for Fenerbahce. One time. And he was left out of the squad for every single league match. So clearly he's not at the level anymore. And the Turkish Super League is not that far clear, at least in the sort of standard areas of the Championship. Decent enough league, I guess. But the Championship ain't a bad league either. And I don't think he gets into our first team. I don't think he manages to displace a Solomon or a Nonto or a James or a Ramazani. And looking even further, 54 appearances in the Championship throughout his career, scoring 3 and getting 5 assists. That's crap. And there is no actual substance behind this, because there's no sort of like, yeah, agents have been in contact. It's literally just Leeds United could do a thing with very little backing it. And it's backed up in terms of like being sourced by sources on their own podcast. Which brings me to a little bit of sort of discussion on the state of football journalism. Why is it like this? Why do journalists feel the need to create articles that are built on a foundation of sand and it somehow flies to the top of the news now? Why do they see it as a worthwhile use of their time? And it's because that's annoyingly how things work on the internet. The more clicks you get, the more ad revenue you get. The more ad revenue you get, the more money you're earning, and the more valuable that time has been spent. If you were to go into it saying Leeds United's injury to Dan James is minor and we won't need to find a replacement for him, no one's going to click on that, even though that's the reality of the situation. It doesn't matter how bland and boring the reality is. If he knows no one's going to click it, he's not going to write it. And the same applies for a lot of YouTube videos. The balls knowledge thing that I did yesterday, I had to find time in a day to record 5 individual video sessions, had to edit it down, which took about 4 or 5 hours, and had to upload both the uncut version to my members page and the cut down version to YouTube. And that's a lot of time and effort. And if I have a very quick look at my YouTube studio right now and compare it to how it's done versus a bunch of other videos, it's performed bang average. And that is why you will get people posting stuff that means absolutely nothing, but you can, in theory, attach a nice shiny headline to it. Because once you've got that click, brilliant, you've owned your ad revenue. And that's why you need to take steps to see what you can actually trust. The reason that things are this way is because you earn money by being the loudest person. But sometimes you need to listen to the quieter voices to get to the actual truth of the situation. So the question is, what can you do? What you can do is look for actual sourcing on things. You'll eventually learn over time that there are going to be various websites and journalists that you just can't trust. Because they will keep doing this, and they will keep writing stuff that is just noise that they can throw into the abyss and hope that enough people pick up on. And if that happens, brilliant, they've earned a little bit of money, but you have spent your time reading something that is of no value to anybody. So work out which sources are good, work out which sort of bits of wording are a little bit weaselly and used to get around things. So saying that a club could do a thing, any club could do anything. In theory, we could have signed Mbappe on a free. Wasn't going to happen, isn't going to happen. And see what sort of cross-referencing is going on. See if there are multiple reliable sources saying something at the same time, and then you can say, cool, that might actually be a thing, rather than the one loud voice that's screaming as loud as the 3 combined. If you've got a case where you've got the Athletic and the YEP and the BBC all saying something at the same time, trust it. Because you can trust those sources and they're saying the same thing, great. But the more people click on these nothing articles, the more these conversations spiral and the more you can get a sort of fans hyped about how Leeds could sign X person. Because I guarantee if that article goes big enough, that'll come out next. Because everyone loves to know what fans think. And that'll just help the numbers go up and up and up. And the way that fans can stop this from being an issue is to cut it off at the root. Not give attention to these nothing journalists and value your time a little bit more. But at the end of the day, as always, that is just what I think. Let me know what you think about the entire thing in the comments down below. You can like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're not yet, that's always really appreciated, or become a channel member for a bunch of exclusive bits and bobs. Hope you enjoyed, and spend your time on the valuable stuff rather than the nothing clickbait. See you later. stupid news now.